Hello, hello, hello. If you are listening to the replays or listening to this off of the talks you may have missed, let me introduce myself for those who may have never heard from me before or know who I am. My name is Katherine. I am the podcast and brand creator of Chakras and Cusswords, which is a spiritual, intuitive brand that is very much centered on the cosmos and astrology and also the chakra system. I'm also very much centered in energy work and creating sustainable acts and intentions. I would consider myself a healer, nurse, alchemist. I am a nurse, actually. I am a licensed practitioner, believe it or not, I am. But I'm also very much centered with the the overall philosophy and divine messages that really come from within and really come from learning and creating areas of sustainability really with the substance of the cosmos and that's what it's really about, right? Is manifesting this energy that we create and this energy and create some soluble, strong intentions and create a lot of areas to move from. So I want to talk about the astrology that is coming up in June, actually, in a couple days, that I really think is beneficial. And I really think it is astrology that people need to learn about and people need to see how they can use this cosmic energy to create success in their relationships or create success in their business. Because I do work with a lot of business and content creators and finding that area where it's like, how do I tap into my energy fully? How do I tap into the cosmic energy of the astrology that is coming up? So we are in June right now. We are currently, it's June 9th, right? We just had some amazing astrological events in the beginning of the June month. And now it's starting to, we're still pretty much in the beginning of June, but this energy in June is really bringing some areas to work with and really bringing some areas that we're going to want to create intentions and we're going to want to create manifesting. So we have June 11th, and June 11th is actually a day who I'm very excited about. And that's honestly, that date alone is one of the reasons why I'm even having this talk, right? Having this conversation is because this day alone, I feel like, is just being overlooked, right? Overlooked by many people. And many people, when you get centered in astrology, we tend to, astrologers or people who are centered in astrology, it's not just about the full moons, the new moons, the eclipses, the retrogrades. It's not just about that energy. It's also about other energies. It's about the conjunctions, the trines, the areas where we can take these planetary alignments and create intentions based off of our birth chart. And that's really what I teach a lot of people, is how to break down their birth chart and how to break into the area of work of creating and manifesting and releasing through the cosmos, right? The cosmos are so magical. So we have June 11th, and this day is a automatic win-win on the calendar. Circle that date. It is Venus in Taurus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus. And for many people, they might be like, why is a conjunction being highlighted so much? Like, what is it about an astrological conjunction that is so important? Well, when we think about the astrological conjunctions, especially where we have a conjunction of two very dominant elements, such as the Venus, which is an amazing feminine planet, the only feminine planet in the sky, right, in the universe, that has the feminine name, um, and it's the only planet. We have Venus, and then we have Uranus, which Uranus is all about the outward thinking, the eccentric thinking, the rebellious thinking, the energy of something that isn't traditional, something that isn't unique. And then we have it settled in the sign of the Taurus. And the Taurus is very structured, very stable, very centered, and very able to create. Like the Taurus, if you know a lot of Tauruses, they don't like to be off balance. They feel unstructured and they feel frustrated, right? If they are in an area that isn't really serving them fully. And we have these dynamics of this conjunction right here of these two planets centered with the Taurus. So this is really an area that is going to bring a spontaneous, unexpected, and mystical and magical area of love, money, structure, and stability all centered in one. So if you're thinking, well, what does this mean for me? What does this mean as an individual? It means that you should look at your birth chart. And if you don't have time to look at your birth chart, I have many posts on my Instagram that lets you know where to start from, right? Where to start from on a collective area, but it also is kind of letting you see which key zodiacs are really going to be centered in this energy. Of course, it's going to be the Taurus, it is going to be the Libra, and Sagittarius, and then also the Gemini is going to have some elements of success in this just because the sun is aligned in Gemini right now. And then also we have the Aquarius. So this is a high anticipated moment. For many people. And if you are structured off of love, or if you're structured off of wealth and prosperity, you can create intentions on this day and manifesting rituals and steps to keep you in that area. And then this day alone is really the prequel of what's more to come, right? What's more to come in the astrological days leading up to the full moon in Sagittarius. So for all my moon watchers, moon goddesses, moon lovers, and moon witches, I see you, and I know you guys are ready to get tapped into this moon magic, because the moon magic has been kind of overlooked for a while because we've had the eclipses, and now we're out of that area of shadow. While we are in a Saturn retrograde and we are in a Pluto retrograde, the Mercury retrograde, which is the retrograde that affects the whole collective as a whole, is over. So we are able to bring that area towards intentions with this conjunction and also with this full moon that's coming up. So we have a full moon in Sagittarius on June 14th. And when we look at this full moon, some people are saying that this full moon is probably one of the most luckiest and one of the most substantial moons that you're going to want to create those intentions. And you're really going to want to be structured in long-term goals, right? So So this isn't that full moon that you're going to want to do like a ritual to like get $100 or something. This is going to be that full moon where you're going to be centered on the life path. You're going to be centered on the expansion of the greater purpose, of the expansion and the abundance of the long give, of the long journey. So look at what that is for you. If that is starting your business, applying for your LLC, if that is maybe formulating stuff with your relationship, taking that area where you're starting to plan towards that romantic getaway, or starting to be more aligned with creating a community. And when we hear like creating a community, it's really a overall practice of creating more of who you are as an individual with your leadership as a business owner or brand owner. So that's something that you want to be looking at with this full moon in Sagittarius. This full moon in Sagittarius is really going to be focused on a lot of celebration, on the long win, on the journey. This is going to be something that you're going to take these intentions and rituals and you're going to use them not only for a one-day event, right? I always look at everybody like when I see the rituals that so many people have, and it's like, cleansing of the house and stuff like that. Yes, for that time in a full moon, yes, you are going to want to cleanse or do whatever it is that you need to release, but we also want to build sustainable actions really much with this full moon in Sagittarius. And if people overlook the power of conjunctions, they're going to see that a lot of times some of the greatest energy is not really off of a full moon. It's actually of the cosmic energy that took place before the full moon even happened. So like if you were centered, back when there was the Pisces and Neptune, I think it was like Pisces, Neptune, Jupiter conjunction. That was the day that I manifested my sound bowls that are usually like $1,000 for a set. And I received them for, I would say, $300. And I waited before I locked in that yes, because I wanted that energy to take place in creating sustainable acts. So with this full moon energy, we're really going to be wanting centered on the long growth of it. And then another day that I really want to point out to you guys for this area of June, there's many other dates as well. But another day that really stands out when we're talking about business and love and creation and intentions isn't going to be a day that many people will foresee as a moon energy. And this is one of the areas that I try to get people to understand is the sun is the biggest, the brightest, and the strongest area that you need to be structured in. If you are a sun sign right now in Gemini, you might be feeling very intense, right? You hear Gemini season, and everybody thinks, woo, Gemini season, woohoo, party time, celebration time. But really, the Gemini is going through the most massive amount of energy because they are aligned with the sun. The sun is in their house, is in their first house, in their placement. Everything around the sun, everything that conjuncts with the sun, everything that is centered in that alignment is being bounced back to the Gemini. So this is a very high structure of energy. The next day that I want to point out is June 21st, and this is the sun enters Cancer. And for Many reasons. It's also the summer solstice, but it's also when the energy takes this huge shift because the sun has now left Gemini and has now entered Cancer. It's really the start of protecting and creating areas that are centered around emotions, also centered around our families, ourselves, and also really our homes. We are going to take this as one of the days that we're going to build that structure and create those building blocks because it is the longest day of the year. It is when we're going to have the most sun energy, the most energy to really get aligned with that purposeful thinking of creation, of those steps, of those stepping blocks. So I'm actually now going to read to you guys some of the horoscopes that I wrote. Well, I guess I haven't written them yet. I have written a little bit of stuff on my Instagram, but I haven't actually wrote the full horoscopes, but I have my charts here. So I will go over what is in the alignment for each zodiac placement for the Venus in Taurus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus. So you have to remember this is not going to be fully structured with the Gemini. This is going to be structured with the Taurus. So for the Taurus, when you're thinking about creating intentions and manifestations towards, if it's business or love, you're going to want to be centered on yourself. You're going to want to be centered on the perspective of the long area of identity and that authentic self. Also, you're going to want to kind of break out of your normal comfort zone. Like, I would say this is the time that if it is with business that I was just saying earlier, like if it is with business, you're going to do something that people don't expect from you. If you've always been kind of like buttoned up and very sophisticated, this is the time that you are going to take that rebellious Uranus nature and kind of be a little bit more seductive, a little bit more playful, more creative, and let that side of you show and really embrace it. And then we have the Aries. For the Aries, this is an area that you are going to be structured on values and really like areas of gain where it's more of the belongings and the structure in the stability. So if this is something that you've kind of been feeling off with your business, this is when you're going to start to look at your products, your services, see what you can change around it. Remember, this conjunction is all about two elements that many of us are love, many of us seek, many of us learn to gain abundance with, and that is business, that is money, that is wealth, and that is love, which is compassion, trusting. So this is going to be taken in the material element of those structures. So look at your business, look at your relationship, and see what elements of the material structure is not really investing in your relationship, is not really meaningful. If maybe you are centered in a relationship where all you feel like you receive is gifts or you give gifts, maybe try to actually be more balanced with the conversation, with what's free versus what's bought and purchased. Or if you're somebody who is not in that area where you don't give gifts, then this would be a day to step out of that comfortable area and embrace your partner with a gift. And then we have for the Pisces. So for the Pisces, this is an area where we are going to be structured on the collective, on the area of the social gatherings with the colleagues, with the siblings, with the family, with the community, with communication. And when we look at Uranus, Uranus is the master of technology, the master of like social media. It has that energy that's very similar to Mercury, but it's a little bit more rebellious, right? It's a little bit more unstructured, right? It's not so tight. So we're going to look to see how we can create that gap that is missing out with our community, which is missing out with our loved ones. And if this is centered around love, then you're really going to want to build that structure of letting your relationship expand on a collective level. Like if you've been like not introducing your potential partner, this is like the time that you're going to want to see like, yeah, maybe I should be introducing this person to my friends. Like maybe this person isn't just like somebody that I call at 3 a.m. or 12 a.m. or whatever. You know, this is somebody that means a little bit more to me. So I am going to bring him or her around the community, around the collective. And then that is for okay, so for Aquarius, this, you know, for the Aquarius, this is really going to go back to the roots. For the Aquarius, this is going to be a little bit more structured versus the other zodiacs. And the reason why is because the Aquarius is always on that rebellious energy. Like the Aquarius is always doing some eccentric ass shit, right? Like the Aquarius is like, can never really be contained, right? The Aquarius sometimes is just always in that pop off energy. And this is going to be organized with structure, also with alignment. So for the Aquarius, I really want you to look at your first three chakras, especially towards love. If you're feeling an odd dynamic with your relationship, you're going to want to tap into that energy of the first three chakras, and also with your business. Like the Aquarius is kind of like that one zodiac that you have to really let them express themselves, and that's that Uranus, right? Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So if you are making an Aquarius not live in its authentic self, or as an Aquarius, if you're not living in your authentic self, your business is automatically, your brand is automatically going to fail. And that same with your love life, that same with your home structure. So I really want the Aquarius to tap into those first three chakras. For the Capricorn, this is all about your passion. This is all about that sacral chakra area. This is really about that area of pleasure and bringing in that romantic divine, that romantic relationship. This is where you're gonna, you know, step out of that that safe little zone that you've been hanging out in, you know, that very structured work balance, and you're going to let more of that life in. You're going to let more of that structure in. For the Capricorn, this is also like that conjunction that I'm not going to give you many business tips. And the reason why is your business is probably doing fine, but your home life isn't. And that's something that you're going to have to look at in this conjunction. And for the Capricorn, I know so many Capricorns get very like centered on the money or centered on the wealth aspect, and you're thinking, oh, but this conjunction, I want to create abundance. For the Capricorn, it usually comes very easy if you are in your full alignment and living at that area. For the Sagittarius, and the Sagittarius, this is an amazing time for the Sagittarius. I feel like the Sag, a lot of people kind of haven't really been paying attention to. Like, you don't really hear too much about the Sag. Like, people aren't like, oh, those dang Sagittarius. You always hear, you know, of course, about the very quote unquote dominant signs. But the Sagittarius is actually very much structured and very lucky, and is that bow and arrow, right? Is that area of that mystical and magical transformation and ability to create and expand. And that's really that Jupiter energy. That's really that area of just creating and expanding and becoming one with manifesting and becoming one with the intentions of the universe. So the Sag is like that sign where it's like, I hear the universe and the universe hears me. A lot of times Sag just don't have to put in too much extra area of alignment. But for this conjunction with Venus in Taurus and conjuncting with Uranus, for the Sagittarius, this is an amazing time for you to really pick up that structure for the self of self-care and rituals and lifestyle. This is where you're going to want to build those rituals that are based on daily activities. Like, this isn't going to be the time that you look at the short-term rituals. This is going to be the time that you express yourself in a way where it's building structure towards the relationship for the long-term goals. And same with business, especially if you are in the business of building something. For the Sagittarius, this is a good time to start those strategies and start that structure for long-term goals. And really, the Sagittarius, you will be up next for your full moon on June 14th. And just remember, this this is all a prequel, right? Like, this is all the intro. This is that astrological trailer, right? This is just getting everybody feeling like warm and fuzzy until you come in with your full moon energy, right? With your Jupiter energy, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is all about abundance and expansion. And then that's really when you go in for it. So for this Sag, you're just warming us up, right? You're just like kind of, getting us in the mood. So take that time to relax. And for the Scorpio has a lot of elements right now of of like healing. And I know, like, I don't want to be super on like this release structure, because everybody's like, how do I build intentions? How do I manifest? How do I create those structures of steps and creation? Well, for the Scorpio, this is that time that you're going to look at the partnerships, the alliances, the contracts, the collective, also as well as creating unity, especially when it comes to your romantic life, right? Especially when it comes to your lifelong partner, or maybe just somebody you're centered with now. And, if you are a Scorpio who is in that beginning stage of the center, or in that stage of beginning the relationship, this is where you realize that unity factor is just you and that one. Like, you can't be bringing in your extra shit. Sorry if there's any Scorpios in, but I'm just letting you know what's really up right now for you. And also, you have to look at the building blocks of your structure. If it is a business or if it is a career, what has it been that keeps bringing you back to that old area of healing? And you really have to turn that chapter and let that shit go. Because for the Scorpio right now, especially with the South Node in Scorpio, it's time to like just move on. And the building of the intentions and manifesting will happen, but you have to make sure that chapter is fully closed. And I know Scorpios love to kind of dwindle in the past. Like, I've talked to a Scorpio and it's like he's holding on to all his ex's shit for like who knows how long. And it's like he wonders why his new relationship isn't working out. You got to throw that shit away. And then we have for the Libra, For the Libra, this is some good energy too, of course, because we have Venus. And Venus, for the Libra, I think Venus really kind of like, sometimes I think if it wasn't for Venus lighten you guys up, sometimes you would be too shy, right? But Venus is in the house. Venus is in your structure of intimacy and like sexuality and investments. If you are centered in the wealth, like this is the time for you to look at those areas where you've invested and see if it's maybe time for you to cash out for the Libras. Also, with intimacy and structure, you're really going to want to bring more into the relationship and really have that area of where you're stepping out of your comfort zone. For the Libra often sometimes feels shy or feels like bashful. And this energy right now that's structured with Uranus, with Venus, is really like that structure where like Uranus is like, girl, honey, like stop doing that same stuff. You got to switch it up, right? So really step into that area of that feminine energy with a bit rebellion towards it. So that is for Libra. For the Virgo right now is all about when we're creating these intentions towards our relationships or towards business. This is going to be the area, because remember, this is what this conjunction is about. This Venus in Taurus conjuncts Uranus is about business, money, and stepping out of that cycle, that box that you've been in. So, and what this does, because a lot of people are like, well, this sounds like a high impact moment, but we also have to look at the Taurus, which is creating that sustainability. So once we break out of this structure that we placed ourselves in and accept that spontaneous, unexpected energy that we all hold within, it's going to balance us out, and it's actually going to create more foundation and stability. So for the Virgo, this is about breaking that area with travel, thinking of the higher energy. I really want you to be tapped into not only the area of possibly like taking maybe like a romantic getaway or doing something like that, but doing something that isn't really expected from the relationship on a higher level, like maybe asking your partner to meditate with you, or asking your partner to go to like a yoga class with you, or if that's like you know something that you feel you've already done, then why don't you ask your partner to go to like a strip club with you or something different, just very something different around the relationship, and create that area where it is a structure of increased knowledge, where you know and you feel safe that you can break that comfort zone, because the Virgo likes to have fun, but the Virgo also likes to be very structured. So break out of that. For the business element, this is really going to be where you are going to start to learn more philosophies, right? You're going to start to learn more approaches when it comes to business. This is going to be when you create those intentions where it's not going to be so sustainable on that business structure that you've been formulating for the last 5 years and you haven't seen any growth. Like that's going to be the time you move past that. For for the Leo, this is all about creating that leadership and that achievement, and really creating that potential for alignment in further areas of success. So this is going to be either with the relationship or with business. This is when you're going to try to take and be strong with that leadership mentality and also with that structure. If you often been very if you're already like a very assertive Leo, which most Leos are, this is going to be that area where you're going to show that as a leader, you also trust the people in your collective. You also trust the people in your relationship. So you're not going to feel so assertive and so abrupt and so like centered in control. Like you're going to let the others kind of lead you. And all that's really showing is that you have trust in them, especially when it comes to love and business as well. So look at that as a whole. For the Cancer, and for the Cancer, this is really about dipping into the areas of network and the areas of, and especially since Uranus is here, this is going to be that time where you're going to do a revamp of like your social media or do a revamp of your website, especially if you are feeling that frustration when it comes towards your business. This is going to be when you create intentions and rituals where you are balanced in that energy of technology and network and distance, right? This is where people aren't going to feel that distance from you, right? They're going to be like, I don't even know this person. Like they're 500 miles away. You're going to break that distance up where they know you, they understand you, and they're really seeing that area of your idealism, of your philosophy, of you as a whole. And if there is any Cancers in long distance relationships, this is going to be that time that you break up that cycle of feeling unaligned with the long distance relationship and really create intentions where you bring that person towards you. Not only, if you can't physically, but mentally, you're going to tap into that emotional well-being where you address those fears and misalignments. For the Gemini, okay, so what can I say? The Gemini is like on this freaking high energy moment. For many of you guys know, we had the Mercury retrograde in Gemini, then we're in Sun of Gemini, and then in a couple of actually, like, I think in a couple of weeks, we have some more alignments with the Gemini. So the Gemini, has probably been feeling like a lot of area of just, woo, like, do I ever get a break? And while we are talking about the Venus conjunction with Taurus and Venus in Taurus on June 22nd, Venus enters Gemini. So this is kind of like the prequel, right? Especially when it comes to that relationship area. So for the Gemini, I really want you to just escape out of that structure and that box and that you've been like letting yourself getting placed in. This is also a time that you're going to tap into your fantasies. And when I mean like your fantasies, I mean like your wildest fantasies, especially if it is centered around your relationship, and really tap into that area. You don't have to feel like there needs to be secrets or mistrust with the relationship area. Like this is going to be the time that you are going to want to express your desires on a different on a different level. And the reason why is because we have that Uranus energy and we have that Venus energy and we have that alignment of the sun with you. So this is a structure where you're really going to tap into your higher self mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually. All of that is going to be brought to a different level where you want to bring that into your relationship. Like you really want to bring that in your relationship. If you are not centered in a relationship, okay? And I don't like to use this word of like looking for love, like I get so many questions. I get so many readings. Like, people be like, "When is my soulmate coming?" Well, you keep asking me, he ain't never coming. Like, dude, like, I mean, I love all the people I do readings for, but like, if that's like another reading I have, like, there's times where it was like that was like the number one question is like, God. Okay, so we need to let go of the luck, right? But this is going to be the time that we have fun, right? So yeah, log on to those old, dating apps that maybe have been on your phone that you haven't really been checking out. That's the time you're going to want to log back in, look around. It's also going to be the time where you're going to be a little bit more adventurous, right? Like maybe you've been wanting to go check out a new bar or a new lounge or a new restaurant, and maybe you just haven't gone because for different reasons, right? This is going to be the time that you're going to really step into that area where you do put yourself in the areas that you've been fantasizing about and put yourself in that atmosphere. When we look at this on the business aspect for the Gemini, this is going to be the area where you embrace your dreams of your business, where you learn to love your business again, where you learn to love what really got you started. What was that higher level of the business, of the brand, of the message, of the communication that had you so in love with it, where you're like, yes, this is me, and structure that emphasis back into it and structure those dreams and those fantasies back into it and really do it in an area where you aren't like solely aligned in it at first. Like you're like, oh, that seems so risky, or that seems so not really me, or I've always thought about doing this, or I've always thought about maybe holding a Zoom full moon circle, but I never did, right? I don't know why, I just never did. Tap back into those fantasies, tap back into those dreams of your business and start to embrace them and create those intentions. And also, as somebody who is in the spiritual placement of, business and branding and all this stuff, it's normal to feel that frustration with your alignment, with your brand, with your business. It happens to all of us. And that's why we have to use these astrological events to see where we can create that energy, to tap back into intentions and rituals to create the pathway for success. So that is a normal process. And this is basically the element that's going to get us past that. So I just want to thank everybody who hopped in here and who is listening. My name's Katherine, podcast host of Chakras and Cusswords, brand creator. If you're into astrology, the chakra system, tarot, if you're into the alchemy of this magical divine state of the cosmos and of energy work, tap into my Instagram. I post daily on where the moon's at, what the sun's doing, what's Mercury doing. Like, that's just who I am. So if you are looking to learn more about your own birth chart, I offer birth chart readings. I offer tarot readings. Check out the website. And I have a new podcast coming out on Monday about manifesting with modalities, finding the modalities that work for you towards creating your intentions, because for everybody it's different, right? Like, there's some stuff that might work for you. There's some stuff that might feel very centered with you. Like, I did one with a girl who is an Akashic Records reader. Like, I don't know anything about the Akashic Records. I know I'm intuitive. I base my practice off astrology. She bases her practice off of the Akashic Records or like human design. You have to find those modalities that work for you and really lead you to that area where you feel fulfilled. So thank you everybody for tapping in, and everybody have an amazing day. Bye.